Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Bimaljit Kaur from Tata Consultancy Services. Today we are going to discuss on the module Crowdsourcing Overview under paper ICT. So students, let us see what we are going to learn in this module. We will cover what is crowdsourcing. We will also study what are the examples of which we can put under crowdsourcing. What are types of crowdsourcing? Crowd voting, crowdfunding, crowdsourced design, creative crowdsourcing, microwork, cloud labor, open innovation, community building, collective knowledge. Under collective knowledge, we will study the benefits of collective knowledge. What is need for crowdsourcing? What are the types of jobs to crowdsource? And in the end, we will study how to make the crowdsourcing efforts successful. To start with, we'll study what is crowdsourcing. So, crowdsourcing is a process of getting work, usually online, from a crowd of people. Now, the word is a combination of two words, one is crowd and other is outsourcing. The idea is to take the work and outsource it to a crowd of workers. Now, in a sense, crowdsourcing is any sort of outsourcing that involves a large group of people actively participating in one project. Generally, this is a public, but a business might also utilize crowdsourcing techniques to develop this internal application. Now, the practice whereby an organization enlists a variety of freelancers, whether paid or unpaid, to work on a specific task or a problem. Another definition by Henk van Es is crowdsourcing is channeling the expert's desire to solve a problem and then freely sharing the answer with everyone. Here we will study the examples of crowdsourcing. The example of crowdsourcing most often cited is Wikipedia, the online encyclopedia that is collectively created and edited by volunteers. Another example we can quote here is in 1884 we had publication of Oxford English Dictionary where 800 volunteers catalogued words to create the first facsimile of Oxford English Dictionary. In 1975, it was a movie called Manthan, which was directed by Shyam Benegal, which was story of Amul brand, was funded by 500,000 farmers who contributed rupees 2 each. Types of crowdsourcing. We will study various types of crowdsourcing techniques like crowdfunding, crowd voting, crowdsource design or creative crowdsourcing, microwork or cloud labor, open innovation, community building, and collective knowledge. Crowd voting. Crowd voting leverages the community's judgment to organize, filter, and rank content such as newspaper articles, music, and movies. It is the one of the most popular form of crowdsourcing, which generates the highest level of participation. The internet offers various mechanisms to perform voting, rating of articles by end users, or computer-driven algorithms that assess popularity via links and page views. Reality TV shows offer another example of crowd voting. So we called American Idol the largest crowd voting ever conducted. Crowd voting is based on 1:10:89 rule that states that out of 100 people, one person will create something valuable, 10% will vote and rate submissions, 89% will consume creation. Crowd voting. Crowd voting occurs when a website gathers a large group's opinion and judgment on a certain topic. We have some examples like threadless.com. The site selects the t-shirts it sells by having users provide designs and vote on the ones they like, which are then printed and available for purchase. Despite the small nature of the company, thousands of members provide designs and vote on them, making the website's products truly created and selected by the crowd rather than the company. Some of the most famous examples have made use of social media channels like Domino's Pizza, Coca-Cola, Henken have thus crowdsourced a new pizza, Coca-Cola have crowdsourced the song, and Henken has designed the bottle of the beer respectively. Another example of crowdsourcing is crowdfunding. Crowdfunding is the process of funding your project by multitude of people contributing a small amount in order to attain a certain monetary goal. Now here the term says crowd and funding. Basically it means crowd is involved in funding a particular process. Financial contributions from online investors, sponsors, or donors to fund for profit or non-profit initiatives or enterprises. Crowdfunding is circumventing traditional funding mechanisms like bank loans or venture capital. In a sense, it says, let's see if we can get a ton of people to chip in a very small amount of money that in aggregate can help somebody to do something. Now, we have some examples of crowdfunding here. One is Indiegogo. It allows anyone to set up a campaign for free. A fee is charged on money raised. Writers, musicians, filmmakers, and visual artists often use this platform to fund projects, but anyone can post any type of campaign. Another well-known crowdfunding tool is Kickstarter. It is the biggest website for funding creative projects. It is the platform for funding creative projects. Campaigns include music, film, publishing, theater, and video game projects. Contributions are pledged and only charged when if the target figure has been reached. Crowdsource design or creative crowdsourcing. Crowdsource design or creative crowdsourcing is basically tapping off creative talent, the talent pools to design and develop original art, media, or content. If you are looking for a logo, you are looking for a design, you can tell a crowd of designers what you want, how much you will pay, and what is your deadline. All interested designers will create a finished design specifically for you. We have some examples under collective creativity. You may receive many different finished logo designs, and you can keep whichever design you like the best. By doing design this way, crowdsourcing actually increases the quality and decreases the price. Creative crowdsourcing spans sourcing creative projects such as graphic design, architecture, apparel design, writing, illustrations, etc. Some of the better known creative domains that use the crowdsourcing model include 99 Designs, Design Crowd, CrowdSpring, Threadless, Genius Rocket, etc. Microwork or cloud labor. Microwork is a crowdsourcing platform where users do small tasks for low amount of money. These micro workers are not necessarily providing the same wisdom that the earlier forms of crowdsourcing, such as open source software, did, because each are simply following instructions from the crowdsourcer. However, this is how companies who use micro labor often label these jobs as crowdsourcing jobs. Leveraging of a distributed virtual labor pool available on demand to fulfill a range of tasks from simple to complex. The figure given below illustrates and mentions all the sites which can be used under this category of crowdsourcing. In this slide, we will study the examples of microwork. Crowdsourcing websites put the open call on behalf of clients who need the micro tasks to be performed. Examples of these include Amazon's Mechanical Turk, which offers virtual tasks to be done online from home, where each task requires very little time and offers a very small amount of payment. Another example is cloudcrowd.com. Open innovation. The term open innovation was first developed by Henry Chesbrough in 2003 when he published Open Innovation, the new imperative for creating and profiting from technology. According to Mr. Chesbrough, open innovation is the use of internal and other companies' ideas to develop new business. He identifies 5 key elements in the new innovation process, that is, networking, collaboration involving partners, competitors, universities, and users, corporate entrepreneurship, especially through corporate venturing, startups, and spin offs, proactive intellectual property management to buy and sell intellectual property and so create markets for technology, research and development to obtain competitive advantage on the marketplace. Open innovation allows people from all aspects of business, such as investors, designers, inventors, and marketers, to collaborate into a functional profit-making reality. This can be done either through a dedicated web platform to gain outside perspective or used with only internal employees. The figure given below gives examples of sites that are involved in open innovation. Open innovation brings together people from different parts of the world and different sectors of the business to work together on a project. This can be done either through a dedicated web platform to gain outside perspective or used with only internal employees. If you are not sure of where to begin with an idea for a business opportunity, whether it's product design or perhaps a marketing firm, crowdsourcing can help through open innovation. This is effectively a collection of different fields and levels of expertise that would not otherwise be available to any budding entrepreneur. Some examples of open innovation. First example is GE Eco-Imagination Challenge. This is a platform in which GE reaches out to businesses, entrepreneurs, innovators, and students with breakthrough ideas on energy issues. There has been 2 challenges so far. Another example is from Xerox. Open Xerox is the place where you can experiment with technologies being developed in the Xerox labs around the globe. The next example is from SAP. The Global SAP Co-Innovation Lab, also known as COIL, network enhances the capabilities of SAP's partner and customer ecosystem through an integrated network of worldwide expertise and best-in-class technologies and platforms. Here we will study about community, about online community and community building. Development of communities through active engagement of individuals who share common interests is called your communities. An online community is a virtual community whose members interact with each other primarily via the internet. For many online communities, it may feel like home, consisting of family of invisible friends. Those who wish to be part of an online community usually have to become a member via a specific site and necessarily need an internet connection. An online community can act as an information system where members can post, comment on discussion, give advice, or collaborate. Commonly, people communicate through social networking sites, chat rooms, forums, emails, and discussion boards. People may also join online communities through video games, blogs, and virtual worlds. Groups that share an interest, a concern, or a passion about a topic, who deepen their knowledge and expertise by interacting on an ongoing basis, is also part of community building. We have examples given in the figure like Crowd Together, the blog TV, Fashion Stick, etc. This slide talks about building communities of practice. We have studied in the earlier slide what are communities. In this slide, we will focus specifically on communities of practice, which are nothing but a group of people who share a concern or a passion for something they do and who interact regularly to learn on how to do things better. Communities of practice are formed by people who engage in a process of collective learning in a shared domain of human endeavor. A tribe learning to survive, a band of artists seeking new forms of expression, a group of engineers working on similar issues, challenges, or problems, a clique of pupils defining their identity in the school, a network of surgeons exploring novel techniques, a gathering of first-time managers helping each other to cope. In a nutshell, community of practice, it's a group of people who share a concern or a passion for something they do and who interact regularly to learn how to do things better. Not everything called a community is a community of practice. A neighborhood, for instance, is called a community, but usually not a community of practice. We have 3 characteristics which are crucial to understand or differentiate the community from community of practice. The first point or characteristic is the domain. A community of practice is not merely a club of friends or a network of connections between people. It has an identity defined by a shared domain of interest. Membership, therefore, implies a commitment to the domain and therefore a shared competence that distinguishes members from other people. The second characteristic of community of practice is the community itself. In pursuing their interest in their domain, members engage in joint activities and discussions. They help each other and share information. They build relationships that enable them to learn from each other. So it is also called collective learning. The third characteristic is the practice. A community of practice is not merely a community of interest. People who like certain kinds of movies, for instance, members of a community of practice are practitioners. They develop a shared repertoire of resources, experiences, stories, tools, ways of addressing recurring problems or challenges. In short, it's a shared practice. Practice to get solutions for their problems. This takes time and sustained interaction is required. It is the combination of these three elements that constitute a community of practice and differentiates a community from a community of practice. And it is by developing these three elements in parallel that one cultivates such a community. Communities encourage sharing of digital teaching and learning resources. These communities of practice work towards creating quality learning resources for their respective subject areas. Collective knowledge or intelligence. Collective intelligence is a shared or group intelligence that emerges from the collaboration and competition of many individuals. Development of knowledge assets or information resources from a distributed pool of contributors. It can be understood as an emergent property from the synergies among data information knowledge, software, hardware, and experts, those with new insights as well as recognized authorities that can continually learn and from the feedback to produce just-in-time knowledge for better decisions than these three elements acting alone. Collective intelligence and prediction platforms, we have certain examples here. Inklink Markets, it uses wisdom of the crowd and forecasting. InTrade, it does global prediction markets. We have news futures where collective intelligence markets are used. Ushhidi, where crowdsourcing crisis information is used. And Kaggle, where data mining and forecasting is used. The benefits of using collective knowledge is access to the moment expertise, validation for their actions and knowledge, feedback for their products and services, reduced cost through indirect outsourcing, source of knowledge to augment and improve repositories. This slide talks about the types of jobs we can crowdsource. These are just the examples. Preparing test cases in which the functionality is provided, executing test cases, preparing documentation for project, for example, user manuals, preparing a design, for example, user interface screen, preparing a design for database design, reviewing the design, it can be database, it can be user interface, preparing an architecture, reviewing documents or design, code review, or security testing. These jobs are very specific to the IT section. We can crowdsource lot many other things like we have studied in the earlier slides. We have examples of crowdsourcing in the area of media and communication, in advertising. We have seen how our dictionary, Oxford Dictionary, was crowdsourced. Even the Wikipedia, which is the encyclopedia, has been crowdsourced. Even the brands, we have various brands, we have various songs that have been crowdsourced, like Coca-Cola. So one can typically crowdsource anything which one can imagine. It can be categorized under crowdfunding, or if it relates to design, it comes under creative crowdsourcing. The importance of crowdsourcing. Why crowdsourcing is important? Business leaders believe that their stakeholders, like consumers, employees, influencers, have valuable insights, and crowdsourcing people's insights are one of the main drivers for leading innovation and change. There is a significant body of knowledge on crowdsourcing, including business rationale, application areas, best practices, and case studies. The world is becoming increasingly collaborative and free-flowing. These days, it pays to open up at least part of your business to the public. It keeps you competitive and highlights your brand. This slide talks about how to make your crowdsourcing efforts successful. The first and foremost point in this is to make the project parameters clear from the beginning. If you want to yield specific results, you need to be as specific as possible when writing up the instructions for the project. What is required, when it is required, what all things needs to be mentioned, all has to be very specific when the project parameters are written and shared. The second point is find the right cloud. It's important to select the right site for the right work. You cannot go to a site which deals with social cause and ask them to design a logo. You need to approach the right place, the right crowd, at the right time. The third point is finding the right incentive. We have another type of crowdsourcing called micro work, wherein you provide some money to the people who do the work. So giving the right incentive is another important aspect for making the crowdsourcing efforts successful. Crowdsourcing actually allows anyone to participate. It allows many unqualified participants, and it results in large quantities of unusable contributions as well. Companies or additional crowd workers then have a sort through all of these low quality contributions. This task of sorting through crowd workers' contribution along with the necessary job of managing the crowd requires companies to hire actual employees and thereby increasing management overhead. So, crowd workers are non-random sample of the population. Many researchers use crowdsourcing. Many researchers use crowdsourcing. So, in this slide, we have studied how you can make your efforts on crowdsourcing projects successful. We have to keep in mind three important things. One, we have to ensure that whatever parameters we are keeping for building the project are clear and precise. The requirements are clear and precise. The second point, we are approaching the right crowd. And third point is we have the right incentives for the people who will be working for our project. So incentive, the right crowd and the right requirements are the most important aspects to make our project of crowdsourcing a success. So students, in this module, that's the overview of crowdsourcing, we have studied the meaning of crowdsourcing and how it can leverage and help today's business world, especially in the IT sector. What we have learned here is various types of crowdsourcing techniques, starting from crowd voting, crowdfunding, creative crowdsourcing, community building, building communities of practice, open innovation, collective knowledge, and benefits of collective knowledge. Under community building, we have understood how the communities of practice have used their advantage in gathering people of same interest to work on a particular task and get the benefit out of it. If you remember, what we have studied in collective knowledge is people with collectively we have gathered some group of people. They have worked on a particular project, used their expertise to resolve a particular problem. And we have also studied why the crowdsourcing was required. What was the need of crowdsourcing? Crowdsourcing was there in earlier times also. If you remember, we have studied the example of crowdsourcing, Wikipedia, wherein a lot of people get together to get the details of each and every topic and put it on that particular site. We have also studied another example wherein a lot of people, 500,000 people, contributed towards creating a particular movie. So this is another example of crowdsourcing. This module has given you the knowledge of how today's changing world is getting benefit, how the crowd is impacting today's world. We have mobiles, each of us are having a mobile in our hand. And just by a click of yes or no, we do a voting, which is another example of crowd sourcing. So this module have helped you in understanding the topic called crowdsourcing and how it can impact our day-to-day life. I hope the benefits of crowdsourcing will impact you and you will use the term crowdsourcing in your day-to-day life in doing your day-to-day activities. Thank you very much.